Hello and very warm welcome here from the European League of Football channel. Patrick Esume, your commissioner, here alongside our CEO, Zeljko Karajica. Zeljko, how you doing tonight?
Very good, very good. A lot of things happening at the moment, so not enough time to fall asleep.
Yeah, and that's actually the reason why we on this channel here today. To talk about what happened in the last few weeks, what's going on right now, and what will happen in the weeks to come. So, Sheko, let's go back and talk about the one topic that probably got everybody pretty much excited, positive or negative. Positive in the sense that we were able to announce the Cologne Centurions and the Leipzig Kings. But on the other hand, also the big question: why not Hildesheim? Why not Ingolstadt?
Yes, at the end, there were a lot of rumors behind the scene when we announced this. On the one hand, as you said, a lot of people said, "Oh wow, Cologne is back," and also a lot of people are curious what's happening in Leipzig. And at the same time, people were asking what happened with the other cities. And yes, at the end, it's easy. It's because we are a league. We are now starting to establish this league, and there are a lot of things going on. In establishing a league, that means you need a team, you need a big roster, you need people behind it, you need also all these economical things behind you. And at the end, there are a lot of partners, 8 franchises and the league together. They have all to find a way together. And sometimes you see, okay, things don't work in that way that we thought it should work. And that was the moment when we said, okay, guys, in a friendship league, this doesn't work. Let's find another way, and that was the reason. There was no explosion. There was nothing. What happened all of a sudden? It's just because when adults sit together and negotiate, and sometimes you are in a situation that you have to change things because at the end, the most important thing is we want to start the league on the 20th of June with our first game. And a lot of things have to be established, and you don't have that much time to negotiate, to talk again and again. Sometimes you have to find decisions all together, and that's what we have done. But all good, we are focusing on June, we are focusing on the first game, and that's how it is.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize. Since we are not a federation based league, but a company business driven league, it's okay, like in any other business, to not come to an agreement, but we find a great solution and we mutually agreed to part ways and found a respectful way in Ingolstadt and in Hildesheim. Then obviously a lot of people ask about what in the world happened in Berlin. There was a rumor out there, no Berlin team in the European League of Football. Later on, we come out and say, well, here we are with Berlin Thunder. I think this is something a lot of people out there in Germany were confused about.
Yeah, and a lot of people asked what happened and why it happened and why they don't talk about these things and what's going on. But sometimes, things need time. We can talk about a lot of things that are happening, but sometimes, especially things like the structure of shareholders and the structure of a company needs time. And in this time period, you can't talk too much about it. And this is what we have done over the last 2 weeks after the announcement and even before, that we worked hard on a plan how to establish, for example, Berlin for the future and having a franchise there which will be stable and which will be maybe somehow a lighthouse franchise in Europe in 2 or 3 years from now. And I think we are really happy that we found shareholders who share the dream with us And I would say from now, think from now in 2 or 3 years, um, when we'll be able to extend our league to 20 or 24 franchises as we plan, and then you will have Berlin Thunder all in the middle of Europe as a capital, and I think this is the dream we have, and I think everybody can imagine a big city like Berlin having a franchise and playing in the middle of this league will be something really great. Maybe it's a little bit harder in the very beginning, like now, but at the end, I think it will be a great dream that comes true in 2 or 3 years from now. But it needs hard work with the new shareholders, and we are on it in order to establish this team now.
Yeah, and I think again it goes back to what we talked about to the previous teams. It's the right for both parties to say, okay, well maybe it's not meant to be, and then you actually go separate ways, and then you move on. And I think we should take this as a step to actually look to to the present right now, what's going on in Berlin, because there was an announcement a few days ago about the new shareholders, um, which is a very illustrious group, very surprising, made a big splash in the media. Um, why don't you go a little bit deeper on who these investors are? Who are the shareholders of the Berlin Thunder?
First of all, these guys are from different angles, but they're always and they worked with in the entertainment business. They worked in the sports business, for example, in the media industry. So what they can bring in is a great network from all sides that helps the franchise, but can also help the league. But the most important thing behind everything is they're really passionate guys when we talk about football and when we talk about the sports team, you know. And this was at the end the most important thing when we approached each other, when we started to talk. That I said, okay, football is rising. You know, it's a big sport in Germany and becoming bigger and bigger. And they want to be a part of this, but not only be a part. They want to, yeah, build something new. And they see the potential of the sports. They see the potential of the league. And this is the reason why they're in. And you know, they come from the music business, they come from the TV business, they come from media business, and we have even second place World Cup football or soccer player in this case, Marco Rema and his team. And this is great. Everybody looks from a different angle on the business, and this is what will bring us, especially in Berlin, great power to the field. And I'm happy once this Corona stuff is done and we can organize big events. Berlin will be the place to be. And even with these guys being around, I think we can expect music, we can expect events, we can expect great content happening in Berlin.
Yeah, and again, while we talk about Berlin, just recently it was announced that the head coach is in place. So not only the shareholders, but also the head coach, Jack Ball, is going to be the head football coach of the team, and more assistant coaches and imports are going to be or will be announced within the next day to come. Um, this is also interesting, and because obviously a lot of questions out there, Shelko, were, are there even teams in the European League of Football? For example, I know that there was a big question. Let's jump to Stuttgart, because that was one big topic that we had. What's going on in Stuttgart? The separation from the Stuttgart Scorpions. Oh, now they don't have a team. They don't have a European League of Football team, but there will be a European League of Football team in Stuttgart, obviously.
And I would say at the end, it's easy. We promised we will start the league in June with 8 franchises. So what will happen is we will start the league in June with 8 franchises. And we've announced now 8 cities where the franchises will be in place, and this won't change anything anymore. So did one change. I think this is okay for a league which is starting and which is new, just to establish itself. But now we are done, and Stuttgart is one of these cities where we're happy that we have a franchise with great tradition. And as we have said, some things need a little bit more time in order to build a structure, in order to find the right people to set it in place. And we will see also in Stuttgart, there will be announcements within the next 2, 3, 4 days. And after this announcement, we will see, okay, Stuttgart will be in the starting eight of the European League of Football. Then we will see who will be head coach. We will see the players coming on. And at the end, we can promise when we start to practice and when practice time begins in the ELF, Stuttgart will start with practice as like Leipzig, like Berlin, like Hamburg or Frankfurt or everybody else. So be sure, step by step, but the things will be in place, I would say, within a week from now.
Well, then let's jump to Cologne, a little bit up north from Stuttgart, where this was a surprise to a lot of people. New franchise, the Cologne Centurions. Obviously, I was very excited about bringing such a big city into the league for Ingolstadt. Um, Everything is in place there. We got a GM and David Drain, who is very experienced as a former head of football operations for an NFL Europe teams right there in Cologne with the Centurions. Head coaches there. My old head coach, Kirk Heidelberg, is going to be the head football coach, and even players are announced. So there's a team, there's an infrastructure, there's ownership, GM, stadium, everything is in place. So Cologne was a surprise to a whole lot of people, but again, we did our homework in advance.
Yeah, and I think Cologne, for example, that when you see the city and we see what happens after we announced it, I think within a week we had over 4,000 people following the Centurions on Instagram. A lot of comments on this. People are happy with David Rain. We have a guy there who is also really passionate. It's great what he's doing behind the scenes at the moment. The coach as well. So I see there things happening every day, something new. So I think Cologne will be back on the landmark and in the league landmark. So I'm really happy that we have this there because North Rhine-Westphalia, as a big region in Germany, is looking for football. And to be honest, this was one of the main questions over the last 3, 4 months when we announced the league.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a franchise in North Rhine-Westphalia? So now we have one, and the Centurions are back. And to be honest, again, I'm also happy that they are back. And even one new thing happened. It was the first trade within the ELF that happened with this change. Chris Isiala changed from Ingolstadt and traded to Cologne.
Yep.
So even that is done, and happy to have Chris now in Cologne. It's great. So, things are happening, things are coming around, and these kind of automatization, that's what we need also in future in the league.
Well, then let's jump to our newest franchise, the Leipzig Kings. Obviously, a lot of question marks. I think Leipzig came out of the blue for a lot of people, but I think we are not surprising anybody if we say Leipzig was always one of the cities that we always were looking into.
Exactly. Leipzig is a really great city, and it covers the whole Eastern German region. And from a league perspective, we always talked about Leipzig. You know it,
Yep.
and also the people behind the scenes know it. And it happened just a year before we have planned it, maybe, honestly. But at the end, Leipzig. Leipzig was a part and should be a part of the league. So again, we're happy to have them on board. Also now with Fred Armstrong as a head coach, an experienced guy. I just had a call with him. He's He's also doing a great work. He is looking everywhere to establish football in this region. I'm really sure Leipzig will be a really interesting franchise also from the sports perspective in the future because yeah, you know that also from soccer, these guys, they are really passionate. I see what happens behind the scenes regard stadium, regard practice facilities and everything. um, a lot of things happen there much faster than in other cities, and that's where I
Yeah.
see that the people there wants really football to have in their city.
Yeah, so we can't say this, that there will be a stadium announced and practice facilities within the next week. So things are looking good. Coach Armstrong is putting his team together, his coaching staff together, and we are looking forward to expanding to Leipzig. Now, Shega, let's look a little bit forward, um, for the next weeks to come. Putting teams together and putting the European League of Football on a broader map. What is the outlook from your perspective as a CEO onto the league? What is going to come? What's going to happen in the next few weeks?
We are now 10 weeks roundabout away from the start of the league. So we know along Europe we have these COVID problems still, but at the end we are planning and we're doing everything behind the scenes in order to make this league and the start of the league happen. So what we will do in the next 2 3 weeks, we will first of all announce the schedule, for example, and say, okay, these games will take place week 1, 2, 3, and so on. Then we have talks also with our TV partner, ProSieben in Germany. But I can promise you, we will have also not only TV partner in Germany, we will also have a TV partner in Poland. We will have a TV partner in Spain. I think we can announce them also within the next 1 or 2 weeks. But much more, ELF will be available also in countries where we don't have a franchise from. So I'm sure that everybody who wants to watch ELF will be able to watch ELF. So this will also what we are doing also behind the scenes is we are developing an OTT service with a Game Pass. So everybody, even in US or Japan or South Africa, will be able to watch ELF and to see what's happening here. And also we will announce in a few days our final destination at the 26th of September, when we will have our goal, our final. I can promise it will be a big stadium, it will be a big event, and hopefully at the end of September, everybody will be, I don't know exactly the right pronouncing of the word, vaccinated or vaccinated or vaccinated, I think. Yeah, that's the right spelling. But in this case,
Immunizated.
immunizated and everything. So we aren't still, but latest in September. But we will have a big stadium, and I promise we will organize a big party for everybody who wants to be part of it. So these things are happening now and rolling over and over, and these are the things we are taking care at the moment. And the things that happened 2 or 3 weeks ago with the shareholders, with the changes, okay, that's things that must be done in order to have a structure. But the other things, what I just mentioned, organizing final, organizing production, TV partners, and the ability to watch ELF all over the world, these are the real important next steps for our community and for all football fans around the world, in order to be able to see us and to see also the players coming from everywhere to Europe and to play football. And we will be proud that the people then in their home countries can watch our game the same way the people can do it in Germany, Spain, or Poland.
Well, as you guys see it, things are actually shaping up pretty good here in the European League of Football. Sherka, I think we're going to do this update from now on out every week or every other week to keep you guys updated. There are a lot of rumors floating around, which is actually good. That means there's something interesting about the European League of Football. I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk. Make sure you stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And we see you guys soon. Thank you.
See you. Bye.